I know you're generally skeptical of regional governments and so forth, so I just wanted to get a sense.
Well, I'm skeptical of the lack of accountability for regional governments, and I think that's something, I think, a good example of that is I can't get the minutes for I have to call to get the minutes and the background for agenda items.
What you are looking at is a meeting I recently attended. This is the governing board for the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, SGV-COG. This is an unelected board. It's a shadow government and operates as a second layer, a parallel layer of county government. The people you see sitting around the tables are the board of governors to this government agency. These are all mayors and city councilmen from throughout the San Gabriel Valley. If you know what sandbag is, this is the sandbag equivalent in the San Gabriel Valley. These people you see sitting around the tables are all yes men. They come to this meeting to be indoctrinated with the regional agenda, which they then take back to their city councils.
The history of these things has been very good with respect to the rates. Gives more choices in terms of different plans. If people want to pick just the cheap plan, don't care about the mix, they can choose the basic plan.
Everything you just heard is the word-for-word talking points that are given out at these meetings for CCA. But there's been a change. James Toma has been removed from the SGV-COG board by Mayor Mike Spence, and now Mike Spence sits on the board, and so I went to see if James Toma was right about Mayor Spence being a skeptic, or if he's going to go along with the program and be a yes man.
Item 13, Los Angeles Community Choice Energy Update, and Bill Carnahan is here with us.
I'm not Bill Carnahan. My name is Matt Skolnick. I'm the program manager for LACE. I'm here to give you I'm going to go over the program very briefly. I've been here before, been to a lot of your city council meetings, giving presentations. I think we have 5 members here. So I'm going to go over the program very briefly, and then go over where we're at right now to date, and then answer any questions that you may have going forward. So really quick, so when a local government chooses to implement a community choice aggregation program, they take over one of the services that the investor-owned utility provides, which is the generation portion and setting the rates for the power that Edison currently provides. Importantly, Edison still maintains the lines and wires and is responsible for getting the energy to the customer's home. And Edison still reads the meter and then bills the customer for their electrical usage. So on the customer side, very, very little changes. Go to the next slide for me. This is a list of cities and counties that have already implemented this program. As you can see, it's quite robust and heavily centered in Northern California, where these programs have been in operation for a few years. And I'll point out that most of these programs operate under a joint powers authority, much like we have down here, that are comprised of the county and then the cities in the county, where each member gets a vote on the board. Next slide, please. Go back one. So quickly, why are communities doing this? Two reasons. One is customer choice. When communities implement this program, it does not remove Edison as an option for them. It's an opt-out program, meaning customers are automatically enrolled and have to proactively opt out, but they can do so at no charge. So we intend to offer 3 rates. The standard rate, which is probably going to be about 33%. I think the state minimum right now is 30%. We're going to offer a 50% product and a 100% product. Edison does the same thing, and what this bar graph shows is the comparison in price. And the things to note is obviously we're cheaper for that base product, but we would also be cheaper for our 50% product compared to their base. So when we say cheaper and greener power, I think that's kind of what we're talking about there. And then of course there's the 100% option, for which customers could expect to pay about a 6% premium compared to Edison's standard option. So if you have somebody who wanted to know that their power is coming from 100% renewable sources and didn't mind spending $6% more a month on their electrical bill, they could choose to do so. Next slide. So where we're at, it's constantly changing almost every day, but right now I think we have 9 total complete members who have executed the ordinance, and signed the JPA. And then we have a number of cities down here, I think this is 15, that are in some process of approval, either had the first reading approved or have voted to agendize the first reading, approve the JPA. Note that there's a few communities here from Ventura County, so it's not limited to LA County here. With that, I will open it up for any questions.
Any questions?
Well, and Mary, I would say that local control is a big issue. You have more control over your energy procurement, not only to serve your own city's load, but also to serve the load of your businesses, your industries, and your residents. And I'm very, very pleased to say that with its initial procurement, which the board has approved for the county, which is anticipated to launch February 1, we have achieved a 60% renewable component at no greater cost than Edison. And that is roughly double the level of renewable energy that Edison is presently providing. Now, that's with a much smaller amount of load because it's just focusing on the county, and we have not yet begun to commence procurement for phase 2 and phase 3, and we will soon be, the board will be issuing an RFP for those services. But thus far, the results are very promising that there is a lot of renewable energy out there in the market. Some of you may recall seeing an article in the LA Times, I think it was probably about 6 weeks ago or so, that said that at times there is so much renewable energy in the market that the transmission operator is actually paying entities to consume that energy because electricity is a unique product. Unfortunately, we don't yet have storage on a commercial scale for energy, and so when it's produced, it has to be consumed. And that's resulted in this rather anomalous circumstance that entities have actually been paid to consume energy. So things are changing, but to me the biggest thing is local control. And as public agencies, the CCAs do enjoy they enjoy more freedom from regulation than, say, the investor-owned utilities do.
Anyone else?
Yeah. How do you answer there was just recently a study done in Marin Energy, and how they ended up being, slightly cheaper, but they ended up actually, for the amount of energy they were producing, being dirtier than PG&E's offerings at the same level. And so, I mean, because that was the big selling point. Marin's been around forever, but it turns out Marin was able to keep prices down because they used dirtier energy, in quotes, dirtier energy, fossil fuel energy, more than even PG&E or that's investor-owned utilities.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll make 2 points. Every year, the CCA and the investor-owned utility are required to issue what's called a joint rate comparison, where they compare what their rates are across the same customer classes. And what those show is, and all those shows are RPS. So what those show is that an entity like Marin is about equal in price to PG&E, but they offer about 20% more renewable. I think the base that Marin offers right now is like 52%. You may be talking about sources of energy that are not renewable, and that's the source of the dirty energy claims. Fossil fuel. I don't know. I'm pretty focused on our program. And not exactly what's happening up there, so I'm probably not in the best decision or place to give you a complete answer.
and you've made one round of energy buys, but you can't guarantee. I mean, the reason I asked this is because West Covina, you didn't list it up there. West Covina, we decided not to participate in the program. And because you couldn't guarantee the stuff you said up there. We aren't on the list up there because different people are rejecting it. But it was 4-1. You couldn't guarantee us those rates. You couldn't guarantee how those things would go. And you said it's local control, but we're all going to be part of a board that has absolutely no real energy experience that are going to be dictating this. You couldn't tell us whether or not you'd be part of PERS. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns still for this. Someone has to pay the $10 million loan back. So it's not free to join because we still got to pay the $10 million loan back to the county.
It don't cost the city like in terms of the general fund.
Yeah, no fund because of the general fund, but we got to pay the $10 million loan, and we're on the hook for that. That we're the CCA is, right? And so how does that all work?
I would say that ironically, the county is going to play a large part in repaying its own loan, because the repayment of the loan is going to be embedded in the rates. And since the county is a very large customer and the county is the first customer, the county will end up repaying a disproportionate amount of the loan. I can also tell you that if you look at Edison's anticipated rate increases, Edison is anticipating future rate increases every year. So we can't guarantee the rates. It would be imprudent for us to do so, because the wholesale energy market is a dynamic market and it's subject to external forces.
Exactly. So that's why it's hard to buy into a plan where it says we're going to save consumers money when there's no way we can do that. I mean, we can't promise that. No one can. And so I mean that's kind of,
right. But the default is: are you going to give your city and your customers a choice, or are you just simply going to be left with having no choice and going simply to Edison? And that's the benefit, I think, is you have a choice. You don't have to do it.
If it was a choice, we'd let them join voluntarily. We wouldn't force them all in.
But I just suggest we might give.
But I mean, if it's going to be accurate, they should point out, there are cities that looked at it, and we decided that you guys don't have a plan for phase 2 and phase 3, and we would never invest in the business if you didn't know what phase 2 and phase 3 was going to be. We would never do that.
Well, Mike, since your city already made that decision, if you have any further questions, so we can, I know there's a couple people need to, would you please?
No, I'm fine. I just wanted to, point that out. I mean, there's some issues here that need to be pointed out, and it's not all just rainbows and puppies, dogs, and green energy, because that's not what happened in Marin. It turned out to be dirtier.
My city was one of the later entries, and we had a lot of questions, and we did a lot of research, and we finally came to the conclusion that it was best for our city. But I don't think any of us went into it blindly, that those who opted in. So I will share that. Anyway, thank you, Matt.